listening to the Scoop Slam Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Scoop Slam Podcast. We are back. We're finally caught up. We're doing some weekly reviews for the first time in months. But today on the show, we got some Dynamite to talk about. We got some Raw to talk about. Jam-packed Raw, Dynamite, but what's different? And speaking of things that always stay the same, on the other end of the call, the historian of the Scoop Slam Podcast, he's all lathered up in baby oil like Silver Surfer. It's Ryan.
Yo, Micah. Little change up here. We're gonna review some weekly shows. What the heck? Ready to get into it though.
It's a nice change of pace, not having to watch the same show for like 4 hours and watch every bit of it meticulously. You know, I can see the Alpha Academy backstage. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, a lot less pressure. Because we don't have to look there with a keen eye and magnifying glass. We can just watch wrestling and enjoy our favorite part of wrestling. That's the talking.
Yeah. The best parts when they're in the ring talking, then they bring those crummy matches out. Nobody cares about that.
Yeah. They put matches right next to my commercials and my talking. I can't have that.
We're just here for the cinema.
Yeah, and the commercials. A lot of commercials.
Well, we'll get to the cinema next week. We're just going to skip SmackDown because we are a day late recording this due to some technical difficulties. But we're getting back in the saddle. Bear with us. But before we get too deep into anything, obviously college football season is upon us. The Roll Tide is stomping through everybody currently with a little scare to South Florida. And the Georgia game is not this weekend, but Ryan, who you got, Alabama or Georgia next weekend?
Oh boy, you put me on the spot here, Micah. I think I'm going to roll with the Tide. I'm rolling with the Tide big. I think it's going to be a big blowout. We're in Tuscaloosa, Micah. Georgia Bulldogs, they struggle against Kentucky. I'm picturing a big win here from Alabama. We're due a big marquee win, and this is going to be the marquee win for the Kalen DeBoer era. It's going to kick us off. And if you didn't remember, Micah, because you're a little young, but the statement win, the marquee win for Nick Saban era was when we beat number 1 Georgia back in 2008. I don't know if you remember that, Mike. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that, but 16 years later, history will repeat itself.
That would be kind of cool, especially because a lot of people have been comparing Ryan Williams to like when, Saban got Julio. So
Yes, sir. There you go.
It's going to be interesting, dude. That's one of them games. What do they say? We'll give you the whole chair, we'll give you the whole seat, but you only need the edge. I don't know where or how or who is going to make a statement, but I'm really hoping it's going to be Alabama. I got faith. But if you are one of the lucky people who managed to sell your arm or leg or firstborn son to go to the Alabama-Georgia game, make sure you're in there with some dead threads or any other sporting event you're going to. Hockey, MLB, NFL, college football, they got it all. Dead threads, link in the bio will get you 15% off when you click it. Then when you go to checkout, get you an extra 10% off using code SCOOPSLAMmed. Like I said, all your favorite sports merch from all your favorite teams. Check them out. They got great deals. Very comfortable shirts. They fit well. I have one myself, and it's one of my favorite shirts. But speaking of my favorite things, Ryan.
Yeah.
Not Monday Night Raw, but what Monday Night Raw led off with, the man, CM Punk, shows up to start the show off. And I gotta say, I think this is probably my favorite promo that he's cut since he's came back to the E.
Yeah. And he hasn't slept in 2 years. You see the bags under his eyes?
Yeah, he pulled a Paul Heyman.
He's one of the best in the business of just selling the match with his actual look, I don't know. Not a lot of guys can pull that off. Heyman and Punk can definitely.
I think even Roman sometimes has a touch of that. Like he'll kind of let his beard gray out a little
Yeah.
more.
Oh yeah.
Cody sometimes if he's not hamming it up too bad. But I think that's a lot of times what really differentiates yourself as a top star compared to, not to take away from the guy because I like him, but like a LA Knight. People love LA Knight, but is he going to tell you a story like a CM Punk or a Cody or Paul Heyman? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he can hold his own. I don't. We haven't seen him in that light, so let's just hold off judgment. Now, if you would have said like Will or Yuta, yeah, he can't convey that type of emotion. But yeah, the great promo started the show. And
Well,
did you notice how he promised to make Drew bleed?
I did. I noted that. I got a big announcement here, ladies and gentlemen. The Scoop Slam podcast will be live in Atlanta in living color, no pun intended, for Bad Blood, Punk versus Drew in Hell in a Cell. I think it's going to be really fun. It's going to be a good match. Their first match wasn't great to me, but I think that was the involvement of Seth. I really like their strap match. So I'm hoping, if they're allowed to bleed, if they're allowed to do all the right things, this has match of the year potential, dare I say.
They will definitely have color in this match. I don't see Punk saying that in his promo and promising it unless he can deliver on it. I think we see blood. I don't know if I've ever heard a WWE promo say anybody in the WWE say kill in a promo or die like Punk did. Can you remember that? Because he used both those words.
I want to say somebody promised that a couple years ago.
To kill?
Yeah. Maybe it
Okay.
was like, who was the last person that feuded with Goldberg?
Oh boy.
Deep
The
cut.
fans. The
Well,
fans.
Bret Hart.
Braun
I don't
Strowman?
know.
I don't know.
Maybe that was it, but somebody said that like they were literally going to like kill
Roman?
him or something, or like I can't remember the verbiage. I just remember thinking whenever they said it, like, well, you can't promise that, and you're as a baby face, you're not supposed to like, make false promises. So
You
I don't
actually
know,
want
but
murder.
yeah. Well, hey, that almost happened on the other channel. But this was obviously his best work since he's gotten there. It's real emotions. Well, I mean, obviously, Punk has a good way to convey real emotions through the TV screen. And the feud has been building so long that you can buy just about anything. But it was perfect from start to finish. I mean, he gets out the car, he comes and says his piece, and he leaves. It was heartfelt, but it was also like a little terrifying in two different senses. It's the old vet, the old, hitman who used to run through everybody, who walked away from this lifestyle, getting back in the saddle one more time to like finally vanquish this enemy that he can't seem to get rid of and nobody else can either. And it's kind of crazy they're putting this on a B-list pay-per-view too, because I would have figured this would have been a big deal, which I'm fine with that because that's what they need. But I'm surprised with the way Triple H books.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know, man. I think the fact that he didn't have to, have his tongue in a cheek and wink at the camera and use insider references to cut a great promo. He talked about something in storyline, and that's what made it so great, and that's what made it the best promo he's cut since he's came back, because it's not going to be something that's just going to pop a certain fan base,
Yeah. I think, well, like when I said that about being heartfelt and terrifying, like anyone like watching that, you can identify with that guy. Like it's a very easily readable situation, and he didn't have to burn somebody's house down.
And the crowd gave him 100% of their attention, and he stood very close to the camera, like almost a little too close. Step back a little bit, bro.
But following that, unless you had anything else you wanted to add, we can move to Finn and Rhea backstage.
I didn't really make note of this right here. Wait, what you got to say about this?
Well, I honestly think that this might be the best that Finn has seemed to me in a long time.
When's the last time he's been up to this level for you?
Oh,
Yeah, because that's not really a high bar to set for him.
maybe I missed most of his NXT stuff. Maybe like when he first debuted on the main roster.
Okay.
I just kind of I've always felt like with Finn, he's just not necessarily like the promo that makes me care about him. And I mean, he is obviously undersized. It's like Rhea's bigger than him in this promo, but he kind of has like an edge to him now. And he really I guess pushed the dagger into Rhea's back. You know, with the whole I'm the one that really told him to get with Liv, and I'm the one that double crossed you and Damien.
The devil on your shoulder. The devil on Dom's shoulder is what he said.
Yeah. And I think that role works for him. I don't buy babyface Finn, which I know they haven't. I know he hadn't been babyface for a while. I just don't think that he works well in like a flunky role, even though he's smaller. But you kind of get what I'm saying. I feel like he needs to be the focal point of the Judgment Day for him to succeed. Whereas JD, he's probably at his, max potential to me.
I'm not hating what they're doing with JD, but yeah, I agree with you. And the fact that if you were watching, just watching over the last couple months, you can see that Finn was pulling the strings all along. You remember when he took the little hotel key card?
Yep.
And in that backstage segment, and he was seen talking with Liv in multiple backstage segments, not even anything to do with the Judgment Day. It was just happened to be caught on camera. So yeah, man, I like the continuity here. I like the long-term storytelling we got here.
The only thing, and we've kind of missed most of this, so I want to see how you felt about it. Rhea and Jay.
Okay.
I'm not feeling it.
I'm not buying it, but the fans like it, so who am I to say that it doesn't work?
I guess my thing is one, they don't necessarily fit together as personalities. And two, it's been very publicized by the company that Jay is married.
Is he?
I'm 90% sure. No.
I think Jimmy
hold
is
on.
the one. Jimmy's the one that's married to Naomi.
Okay. Well, never mind then. But Jay is married.
Is he? I don't know. He's probably got 12 kids, but I don't know if he's married.
I'm pretty sure he is, because I feel like Rikishi made some kind of comment that he was getting pissed that they were trying to book that angle for him when he's married.
Okay, yeah, that does ring a bell. Yeah. Okay. So you're not buying that aspect of it. You can buy Rhea. Rhea being into Jay, but not Jay being into Rhea, huh?
No. I don't think it's that. I think it's just more personalities. If they're friends, but why? What's the relationship there?
Well, Micah, you work side by side with somebody 300 nights a year. Stuff's gonna happen, man. You not remember the whole Edge Leah saga? I mean, did they really fit together? No, but stuff happens on the road.
Well, I guess you do have a point there. I don't know. We'll see where they go with it. I'm not high on it right now.
Are they leading to a romance angle here, or are we just getting teased, Micah? I don't understand what's going on here.
Well, he made some kind of comment about being out of her league, and she agreed with him about something, and he was like, "Oh, so you think I'm out of your league?" And she was like, "No, that's not what I meant." So I don't know. It's I would like for Jay to more focus on our next topic on Raw, which is him versus Braun Breaker. And they had a promo battle because right after this, Jay went out to the ring. He basically he does the yeet stuff.
Yeah,
That's I
it's his
sound like an
thing.
old man saying that, but
He got serious when it was called for. Don't just
yeah,
don't pigeonhole him. It's just the Yeet Man. That's all he can do. He can cut some good promos. I thought this right here was a great promo exchange with Braun and Jay. I know, Braun cut a great promo, but Jay did kind of get the last zinger in about Braun's NFL career.
yeah.
But as far as back and forth go, I think they did a really great job here. I've been proven wrong about Braun. I'll admit it now. I've been proven wrong. He's been out of all the call ups over the last, I say since Gunther, he's probably been treated the best.
Yeah, I probably agree with you on that. I don't really see the only thing maybe I wish was different. I know it would have been heel versus heels. I kind of wish he beat Gunther for the belt, just so years later, whenever those two meet for the world title, it's like, well, Gunther hasn't beaten Braun.
Uh, What did Braun say to send Jay over the edge? Was it about him living off his family name, or Jay being on the roster for 14 years and Braun accomplishing more?
Yeah, it was
Let's
that.
take on it
That
with
that
that.
was Braun's like big dig, and then Jay came back with the
He took the glasses off. Find his
yeah.
feet, Goose.
Oh, come on. He got in the corner and smirked at him.
Really
I
bald spot.
I did. I will say, even though I was kind of saying he becomes the Yeet Man at first, I did enjoy this. I thought Jay did a good job. It's kind of it's not as bad as Seth, but to me, I look at it the same as like, if Jay could just be serious all the time on promos, then I think it would be fine.
That in-ring work too is buns.
Well, that too. The match is so interesting on paper, but I know when that bell rings is going to be garbage.
You tell me right now. We'll get a prediction because we won't. By the time we do next week's show, it'll be over. Who are you going with? Jay versus
Uh,
Braun.
I gotta go with Braun. I think they're still
Wow.
building Jay into this like, man, I can't really do anything, and I think he's gonna fall back into the fold for Survivor Series with the Bloodline.
I think you have to go with Jay here. There's only so many times he can lose big matches. And if Jay beats Braun, is that really going to hurt Braun?
Uh,
Remember when Sami Zayn beat Gunther at WrestleMania and it didn't really hurt Gunther at all? You can give Jay like a little 2-month reign with the IC title, can't you?
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I just don't know that they're gonna. I don't know. I mean, does he go into Survivor Series with the belt?
I can see it, but are there any baby faces on the horizon that can challenge Braun?
Well, Sammy just challenged Gunther.
Yeah. So most of the top baby faces on the show are gonna be chasing Gunther because he's the world champion.
Yeah.
So I think you have a babyface Jey Uso versus I don't know, a Chad Gable. Who else they got? Who else is on Raw?
I don't know.
That's
They
not
have a
like
3-hour show and my mind blanks
okay.
when I try and think about their roster.
Bronson Reed. You could do that.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. To me, is like the big feuds right now are Punk and Drew, Sammy Gunther, Braun and Jay, Damian, the whole Judgment Day fiasco, and then Braun and Braun's son. Sorry, I was like, huh? But
Okay.
Braun Breaker, no, not Braun Breaker. Good Lord,
Braun Strowman.
Braun
Braun Strowman.
Strowman,
Yeah.
him, and versus Bronson Reed. But both of those guys aren't necessarily a heel or a babyface. I guess
Well,
Braun is a
no.
babyface, but then like,
Come on now. Bronson Reed destroyed Seth Rollins, man. He's definitely a heel.
so then Bronson has to go over.
Yeah.
So then if Braun keeps the title, how's that going to work? Or is Seth going to come back?
Well, Braun Breaker, you saying Braun as in Braun Strowman or Braun Breaker?
Oh, God. Braun Breaker,
Okay.
if he is still champion,
He's
then...
heel. He's heel. So,
yeah.
yeah. So if you get the title off Braun Breaker is what I'm saying and put it on Jey Uso, then maybe Bronson Reed can take the title off Jey. And then we can get Seth challenger for that when he comes back. I don't know, man. It's a lot of possibilities we can go with here.
Yeah.
But I think to add credibility to Jey Uso and to not lose any more credibility with the fans. Because I mean, how many times are they going to want to eat with this man if he keeps on losing big matches?
Yeah, I mean, you got a point. But I just feel like Triple H loves his long reigns. I feel like they're gonna give it to Braun Breaker.
I do.
That is.
Yeah, I do like the fact that it's a main event match on Raw.
Yeah.
I like that. I like a main event match. Excuse me, where you can't really call either. You can't really call the outcome. It's unpredictable, and it's a match with stakes. The IC title. I like that.
Yeah, because a lot of times the TV championship matches. I mean, we all know you basically know who's gonna win as soon as they announce it. But like with this one, I don't know. There's some stakes. It actually makes you want to watch Raw. But one last thing about this segment, I gotta ask you. I don't know if it's the cadence that Braun speaks with Breaker.
Yeah.
Or if it's like the insane amount of spray tan. But does he a little bit remind you of MJF?
The cadence in which he talks, maybe a little bit. It does, yeah. Spray tan is like, especially when he holds up his arms and you can clearly see that his armpits are like whiter than Ghost, and the rest of his body is just more orange than a Cheeto. I don't know.
Which, I mean, I don't know. Not to body shame anybody, but I'd rather you have a spray tan than, come out there being paint white. But
yeah, pale. Looking like Sting and Starcade 97.
Oh, I knew you were gonna go there. The only other thing I had for Raw, I don't know if you have anything else, and this was a big deal on Twitter, the potential New Day split.
Yeah, I think they have got me interested in New Day for the first time since Kofi Mania. It's been a long time.
Or
I'm
Big E Mania.
I wasn't a big fan of that when it happened.
I didn't like that they announced it before.
Because
then you knew it was coming. Yeah, because they did that because it was Monday Night Football up against them. But
I didn't feel like he was main event material.
Well, I've always liked Big E, but I see what you're saying. To be honest with you, I think the one that has the most star potential, if he was like serious, probably Xavier Woods.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, I like Xavier Woods. I like his online stuff with up, up, down, down. I think he's really underrated in the ring. I've loved his matches since he was Consequences Creed in TNA, man. 20 years ago almost. It might have been 20 years ago.
Probably coming up on it, and it's crazy because he doesn't look that old. I actually don't think he's that old.
He's probably like 30, 38, something like that. 37.
I can look
wait a
real
minute.
Quick.
Wait a minute. When was he Consequences Creed? Because I mean, he was 17 out there.
He's 38 now, and he started
he's 38.
Yeah, he started in TNA in 2007.
Yeah, almost 20 years. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, him and R-Truth were both in TNA at the same time.
Holy crap!
They were a tag team. Do you remember what the tag team name was without looking it up?
Truth and Consequences?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Which is
And
kind of
if you
funny because
remember,
that wasn't even his name wasn't even R-Truth in TNA.
nah, it was the truth. The
Oh, it
truth,
was the
Ron
Truth?
Killings.
I thought it was
Yeah,
Ron Killings.
the truth, Ron Killings is what they called him. But
Ah,
do
okay.
you remember when Xavier Woods first got brought to the main roster? Who he was paired with?
I do not.
It was Brodus Clay and I believe R-Truth as well, which is weird looking back at
Yeah.
it. It's time's a full circle, man.
Brodus Clay is a weird time in WWE. But about the New Day split, what do you think is going to happen? What would you like to see happen? Like, are you cool with Xavier going heel, or do you
Well,
think they're bringing Big E into the fold?
well, first off, Wood should have laid the smackdown on that referee for what happened in that match. Because I don't know if you caught the end of that match, but the referee just walked out the ring to go escort everybody out the ringside area when there was a match going on at that time.
Yeah.
Like, was he getting paid off? What's going on there?
I mean, they are street trash.
There you go. There you go. Uh, yeah, a lot of directions they can go in here. I don't think you can turn Kofi Kingston heel by himself because I just don't think the fans want to boo Kofi. But
Yeah.
I can see them turning Xavier Woods heel. Maybe you get Big E to try to make peace with Xavier and Kofi, and maybe the 10-year anniversary is hyped up on Raw, and then you get this big celebration. Big E's there, and then you get Xavier Woods to attack Big E. Maybe not do much because I think he still is legitimately hurt with that neck. But you get him to attack Big E and lay out Kofi. Him ending Raw over Big E and Kofi Kingston's lifeless, unconscious body. I think you get something there, man. You can get a future IC champion with that.
I definitely think that it's. I don't know. People were pissed online when they were like thinking about the prospect of breaking them up, but I just
It's
think
time.
it's time.
It's been time. What else can they do? They've
Yeah.
been champions 12 times together. They don't have Big E anymore, so you're never gonna get the legitimate, authentic New Day experience without Big E. It's time, bro. Kofi has been there, done that with the IC championship, the US championship, 10 times over. So you really can't make anybody if you turn Kofi, but you can make somebody if you turn Xavier Woods.
Yeah. And looking at the longevity of wrestlers now too, you've at least got another 7, 8 good years out of Xavier.
Yeah, and
But
we've never seen Xavier by himself as a heel on the main roster. It's time, bro.
yeah, I agree. If he like kicked Big E in the balls and he
All right.
and he left Kofi in a puddle of his own blood, I think
Yeah.
it could really get him over and start something. And
And
I
you
mean,
know
he
what?
won King of the Ring, and then
Yeah,
that kind of fizzled out.
it did. It did. But during that time, it was the madman years of Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
So it really didn't get fleshed out much. But Xavier Woods and dang, I lost my train of thought, Micah. Um, hey, keep on talking, man. Keep on talking. I had a good point
Well,
there. I lost
do
it.
you
I lost
think?
it, man. Oh no. Okay, give it back to me. Give me the ball back.
Okay.
So
Here's the rock.
okay. All right. So Xavier can be one of the best heels that you can have in wrestling because he can be a heel that actually has a reason to be heel because he's not at fault for being mad at Kofi here, is he? Kofi called in Odyssey Jones, didn't tell Xavier Woods about it. Kofi told
And it turned out
LWO,
that guy was a domestic abuser. I mean,
yeah,
Jesus, Kofi.
hey, exactly. Yeah, be picking good friends, huh, Kofi? But still, and then he told LWO, was that LWO? Oh yeah, it
Yeah.
was the Latino faction. He told them to be at ringside to help him out. Didn't tell Xavier Woods about it, even though man, he's known Xavier for a whole decade. He didn't tell his tag partner that he's going to ask for help in that match. Xavier Woods has the right to be mad. He
Yeah.
tried to replace Big E. So I mean, if you're Xavier, wouldn't you feel hurt and betrayed by Kofi's antics? I'd be sick of it too.
Well, going on that vein, I think it's the same thing that's made Drew McIntyre so great.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
kind of
Totally.
get it. Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
so I don't know. I think it's time, and I think legitimately Xavier could be one of the big like heel stars on Raw if it was done right. But let me ask you, Ryan, if he did low blow Big E, do you think they could call back Diddy to ask how Big
Oh
E's
my.
nuts are?
Oh man. What? I can't believe that happened on WWE television.
There's so many instances, or like I may have sent it to you the other day, the Vince McMahon tweet where he tweeted like partying with Diddy or something like
Yes.
that.
Yeah. That was 2013. Man. Yeah, the jokes write themselves. You're excited about that Vince doc? It's happening, I think, this Wednesday.
Oh, that's right. Ah, it could be really good. It could also be really bad. But I think you summed it up best in what you like told me that you wanted out of it.
Yeah.
Which was?
Oh, I forgot. Tell me. You tell me. It's your story.
You said you really wanted to know like what about Vince's like younger
Oh, okay,
self.
okay. Yeah, his upbringing. We don't know much about Vince's upbringing, but I don't think we're gonna get any of that in this doc.
Yeah. Well,
This is supposed to be a double shovel burial job, if you believe the dirt sheets.
okay, because that's exactly what I was about to ask you. Because you're the historian here, and wasn't this a WWE? Like, wasn't Vince on board with this documentary at first?
Yeah, and then it was supposedly not gonna happen, and then Netflix bought the rights to it. I think. I don't I don't remember how all this happened, man, but the case, the lawsuit pending on Vince definitely got him some more content for the documentary. So maybe they were going in a different direction when they bought the rights to it, but when the whole lawsuit broke out, they changed course. And now that Netflix is bringing Raw to its service in 2025, they want to distance, they being Netflix, they want to distance themselves from Vince as much as possible. And if you give Vince a double shovel burial, you kind of force TKO to, you kind of force their hand into never ever using the words Vince McMahon on television and never ever mentioning Vince McMahon and never even having the idea of bringing Vince McMahon back if this burial job is what it is.
So, but you think that's a good idea for Netflix to do, and not a counterintuitive move to kind of bring up all this dirty history about wrestling right before you get the biggest wrestling show in history on your platform?
No, because I think that things are so rosy and peachy over there at the Fed right now that probably like the last 15 minutes of this doc is just going to be of them saying how great it is here now and how much of a great environment it is now. And we're probably going to get some sappy music with Triple H going around hugging everybody. And I'm sure it's going to, paint WWE as a whole entire different company at this point now that Vince McMahon is gone. I think we're going to get that.
Yeah, I can 100% visualize the ending 15 minutes of this documentary just off of what you described. Like it's gonna
Yeah.
be Triple H, like you said, the rosy music, walking around ringside before the show with a cup of coffee in his hand, like checking on the wrestlers, and yeah,
His daughter is going to be there and they're going to say how much that he's so much happier now.
yeah. I think that what we're building here is a lot different, actually, and it's a hostile free work environment.
And they're calling this the Triple H era now, right? Is that like the official title?
I've heard lots of things. Like, what was the last one called? Was that the Reality Era?
Like 10 years. Just nobody had anything original to call it. So they called it the reality era. But Triple
So
H, he has the voiceover for the star of the show now. They replaced John Cena. Did you see that?
yeah. Do you think he toots his own horn a little bit too much?
Well, he is the guy in charge. I mean, if you're watching any TV show, written and produced by such and such, which they have that now. They have credits at the end of the show.
Now, I was about to say they started doing that on SmackDown, and he opened up the show, and he's got the tagline at the beginning. I mean, I like him; he's doing good stuff, but
they're trying to paint it as Triple H centric now. They don't want anything to do with Vince. So this is the opposite of what Vince would have did. Because remember, Vince never wanted any credit.
I think he does like the spotlight a little bit, just naturally from being a wrestler. But I do think what you said plays a factor into it. They want everyone to know this is Triple H's show.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're doing a good job. He's doing a good job.
Yeah. Well, speaking of shows, and a show that's not Triple H's show, we'll move on to Wednesday night AEW Dynamite.
Oof.
To start us off,
let's just wrap it up here.
Been a good show. Been a good 40 minutes.
Okay. All right.
Craig, take it from here. Dynamite. One thing we've missed kind of in just doing the pay-per-views over the past couple of weeks has been the whole Nigel versus Bryan thing that spawned last week. But they showed a really good promo here with Nigel that they really messed up on for the first little bit. They had technical difficulties. But, well, I don't know. I have no answers.
It's a constant. Remember when Jungle Boy got his promo cut off by a Taco Bell ad?
Yeah.
How's this happen?
It happens like it'd be one thing if it was like once every like 2 months. Like sometimes it happens in WWE, but oh my god. And they have like a ton of the WWE staff for that. Or former WWE.
Yeah. I just don't understand how this keeps on happening.
I don't know, but obviously, a rehashed feud from Ring of Honor for the world title. Nigel came back at All In. I thought he looked pretty good for not being in the ring in a long time, but obviously there was still some rust there. What do you hope for this feud? Do you think this is a good idea for it to be Bryan's first feud?
Well, I can't wait for Corey Graves to come back and face Gunther at Saturday night's main event, man. He's a commentator, Micah. I understand they have a feud from 20 years ago that, a handful of people watched in the Hammerstein ballroom somewhere. But at this point, Micah, what are they going to the big Grand Slam show, right? One of their marquee shows of the year.
Yeah.
So for your main event, one of your marquee shows of the year, you have a 15-year rivalry that hasn't gotten physical at all yet. They haven't had a back and forth promo, and they're gonna heat this up like it's a microwave in 2 weeks. And now it's happening. Is that next week? That's next Wednesday, ain't it?
Oh, I can research that for you.
I think it's next Wednesday, yeah. So they have no back and forth exchange at all. We don't even know if Bryan's going to compete, which he is because they wouldn't advertise it unless they were going to deliver. I just don't. I don't think this is the right direction to go.
You were correct. It is this upcoming Wednesday. Do you think Moxley gets involved?
He has a match that night, doesn't he?
I can double check.
I think he has a
But
match with
I mean, yeah, he
Darby.
has a match with Darby.
Yeah. I don't think this is the
I
right way to go. I think you should just have Darby versus Daniel Bryan match.
Yeah, but then you got two babyface, and I think that's part of the problem too with Brian's whole run. Like he's never really been a heel or a babyface except for like right there in the beginning, and then like he'll be a heel, then 2 weeks later he'll be a babyface, and there's just nothing they've ever done to really like solidify him as right or wrong. And I don't think that Nigel is a heel commentator. But it's his first time in the ring in 15 years in a singles match, so people are going to be cheering for him.
Do people care?
I would imagine they cared in the UK, but then again, he's from the UK.
Yeah, that was the UK. Do people care? Have they moved any tickets for this show because of that match? I don't think they have 3,000 people. I don't think they have 3,000 tickets sold for this event. And this is the same event that they had 20,000 tickets sold, 2-3 years ago for. And Arthur Ashe, aren't they in Arthur Ashe for this? I think they are.
Yeah, they are.
So you're going 10% to capacity for this big old arena?
Well,
I think this was
I can't speak to the booking
Mark.
agency.
Mark booking. That's what it is, man. There was no reason to have this match, but just have a dream match. Like Ricochet Will Ospreay. There's no reason to have that match. It's just because it's a dream match. This should have been built up.
I can see both sides of it because I am morbidly, I guess, or not morbidly, but I'm intrigued by this match just to see what it is after 15 years. Now, have I ever watched their other matches? No. But I mean, if Cena came back tomorrow and they had a match at like Survivor Series and it was 2 weeks from Survivor Series, I don't think I would hate it just because it's kind of two legends tying up again. But
that's different though. People saw Cena versus CM Punk. They saw those, man. No, I'm being serious, man. Nobody saw McGuinness versus Daniel Bryan when it happened. Did you know about that when it happened? I didn't.
I think I was like 4.
Okay, well, I was a big wrestling fan. I knew nothing about this.
Did you know about CM Punk in Ring of Honor?
No, I didn't know about CM Punk until he showed up in ECW.
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't know that we are the audience that this is appealing to.
No, but that's the thing though. When CM Punk showed up in ECW, the new breed unleashed, WWE ECW, they didn't have CM Punk versus Just Incredible as his debut match, and then 3 weeks later have CM Punk face Raven, and the WWE say, "Oh, but this is a long time match with two rivals that wrestled in a promotion that nobody saw." They didn't build that up like that. They never had anything like that.
I mean, I see your point. I guess I can see the intrigue and I'm interested in it. I would not have done it in 3 weeks.
So if Corey Graves started challenging Seth Rollins to a match, would you want to see that built up as a title match program?
But do they have history?
I think they did wrestle in FCW or the original NXT. I think they did, yeah.
But that's a little different.
Do you want to see that? Do you want to see that?
Okay, let me ask you this, because these are two guys who had a feud. In this last John Cena run, if Wade Barrett came off commentary and was like, "We had this whole thing, with the Nexus," like, would you be okay with that or no?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to see that either. Thank you.
Okay, well, maybe those two aren't the best comparison, but I don't know what else to compare it to.
I don't want to see it in 2024. That's what I'm saying. And if Brian is having these matches where he's getting announced as if Brian can medically compete Bro, just take the title off him if he can't medically compete. What the heck?
Yeah.
How's it the
Well,
safest company in the world?
I don't like that, and it's the same thing they do. Like every match he has, they check his neck. It irks me, dude. Like it makes me. It's one of those things. Like it makes me look at my phone. Like it's something that I get uninterested because I know he's gonna get back up, and it's like wasting 2 minutes of my life that I'll never get back. If I hadn't seen it before, that's one thing. But it's like, oh well, okay, what's happening on Facebook? You know what I mean? I can just move on to something else.
Well, how did he get hurt? Because the plastic bag went over his head. How did that hurt him?
Uh,
So did he have a cardiac arrest in the plastic bag? You know what happened? They didn't have a stretcher, and they probably did like hyperextend his neck when they grabbed all
Tried
his
to
limbs.
carry him out.
You think that's what it was?
I don't know. I know they just said the attack by Moxley, but I don't really know.
But he no-sold the European uppercut, so it had to be the bag, right?
Well, I guess, yeah, probably so.
So he can't be on the show because he got a bag put on his head? I mean, he was on the show 2 weeks after he got dropped on his head from the Tiger Driver, and he had a seizure. Remember that?
I do remember that.
So you can get back from that and have what was that, Blood and Guts? I think a couple weeks after that, he can do that.
Yeah.
But that plastic bag, that was a step too far.
Well, we'll have to see what Nigel and Brian produces. But speaking of the plastic bag offender, Jon Moxley came out to cut a promo. First, before we get too far into this, Excalibur has got to be the worst announcer. I don't know if you caught this. Wait, what'd you say?
I said I would still put Shivani up there, but yeah.
It's one or the other. Yeah. But Excalibur goes, well, we didn't know when Jon Moxley was going to come out here. Before the commercial break, they literally showed a graphic that said Jon Moxley cuts a promo up next.
Did he say that?
Yes! We didn't know when he was going to show up. Well, you hit his music, and you showed a graphic.
It seems like he's stumbling over his words.
I think you did know.
It seems like he's stumbling over his words more, too. I don't know what's happening with him.
I mean, hopefully nothing like family or health related, but...
I wouldn't mind that.
Oh, come on.
I'm just saying, man. Get him off commentary.
Maybe his mask is too tight.
Hopefully Mox comes around with another plastic bag and gets him. Don't let go, man.
I don't even know what to say. So Moxley didn't get to this promo. He gets ambushed by Private Party.
What was that? No, so with the elbows.
Wait, what?
He didn't sell any of the elbow strikes that Brother Zay delivered to Moxley. Did you not see that?
I don't think I caught that.
So Brother Zay, Isaiah
Is he still going by that?
That's the only way I can remember his name.
Well, that's one of my commentary said that Brother Zay just had his hand smashed by a hammer. I was like, Matt Hardy is like, okay, no. but continue.
Okay, so Isaiah Cassidy came out of nowhere, and because I didn't know what this was, I thought it was a fan that went into business for himself.
Well,
because Moxley just kind of no-sold it. He just kept on walking. But Isaiah Cassidy throws like 10 or 15 punches at Moxley, and then they no-sell it, and then Marina Shafir and Cesaro grabbed up Isaiah, snatched him up, and started, I don't know, man, wailing away on him.
Yeah.
Made him like a J-Bro. And you got Commander in there. How is Commander related to these guys at all? Are they a tag team? I don't
know. He just spawned in. You ever seen that thing on it gets shared. Somebody shared it because Javon Evans has a match with Randy, but it was like, man, I applied at applied on Indeed at WWE, and now I got a match with Randy Orton next week. I think that's what happened to
Yeah.
Commander.
I guess they got to find something for Alex to do, so they stuck him with Commander too. But so you can no sell hard elbow strikes and punches to the face, because I guess top guys don't sell. But it's okay for you to go 20, 25 minutes with the Beast Mortos in a match and look like you're getting pushed to the brink. Is that okay? Where's the line drawn here?
Well, if it's Jon Moxley, he does judo and MMA, so
But I've seen him have competitive matches with Orange Cassidy. I've seen it. It's happened.
well, that's because he lost, didn't he? To Cassidy?
You
I'm like
might.
90% sure he lost to him.
Nah, I think Moxley did beat him. I
Well,
think. But still, though, you can sell for that. 30 minutes, 35 minutes, Canadian destroyers. You sell for that. But these strikes, these elbows, these punches, you're not gonna sell for that. So what do we draw the line here for? Where's the line here?
I couldn't tell you.
So
And
shouldn't that mean that Ricochet should have beat the Beast Mortos in like 2-3 minutes?
well, he's undersized, so
Okay.
we'll give him 8, maybe 10.
All right. Okay, but still though.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but that's my biggest thing about Moxley is he just never. It almost seems like he never cares about the other guy that he's doing anything with, which I think this is probably the most interesting he has seemed to me in a while. And the angle as a whole, I didn't hate, other than I think it went for a pretty long time. And I also didn't like Marina throwing Isaiah
yeah.
around.
Threw him
I know
everywhere.
she's a former shoot fighter, but like,
But was she good? I
well,
think she won one of her matches. She went like 1-3. So are we sure she's a shoot fighter? I don't know. You remember what Brock Lesnar said about CM Punk and that little promo package for SummerSlam? Anybody can put on gloves and take classes at the YMCA and call themselves a shoot fighter, but I don't know, man. I don't think it was the right idea to have Moxley no sell elbows and forearms from Brother Zay, but Brother Zay looks like he's half dead after taking a knee strike from Marina Shafir. Even when I've seen Marina Shafir sell to 90-pound women, I don't
yeah.
know, man. I don't
I
know what
think
we're doing
that's the
here.
caveat for me. Is like she will go and sell for the Rihos of the world, but she can throw Isaiah Cassidy around. I'm fine
Yeah,
with the strikes and the kicks, but like literally grabbing him and throwing him into the barricade, she doesn't look like Rhea Ripley. Like she's probably my size.
yeah.
And Zay is, I mean, he's skinny, but he's tall. I feel like he could at least defend himself somewhat. I don't know.
I,
I don't buy her, and they haven't done anything to make me buy her.
she's built up like China, man. Do you see what she do to the security guards every week? Why do they not hit her or like do a double leg takedown? They know what she's gonna do, right?
Well, because
They don't really fight.
that's offensive.
Well, so you can have her beating up everybody, but you can't defend yourself. Or if a woman is, giving you the hands, Micah, are you just gonna sit there and take that?
Uh, my lawyer has advised that
Well,
I
I'm just
don't
saying.
answer this question.
I'm just saying, Micah, if you're working security, man, and you're tasked with taking an unruly customer out the premises, and they start, giving you some body kicks, some body checks, what are you gonna do about it? You just gonna
No,
sit there and take it? You gonna sit there and wave your hands around?
I mean I get it. I'm not just gonna sit there and let it happen. But I don't know. I just don't buy Marina in this role, especially considering she pretty much hasn't ever done anything in the women's division.
That's because you don't know her.
Oh well, you don't know me. We
Alright.
know her.
Okay. I
but
don't
we
think
don't
anybody
know
knows.
her.
She's the problem.
She is a problem. That's
Yeah,
correct.
she's
Uh,
the problem.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see where this Moxley stuff goes. Darby came out, saved it.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you
I like the hammer like angle, I guess, but it could have been sped up by about 5 minutes. And
I'm
yeah,
still a little confused. I'm still a little confused of where they're going with this. But I'll see where it goes because if they're doing a hostile takeover on the company, they're doing it. They're more intimidating than the Young Bucks and uh Kazuchika Okada, which they have completely abandoned that storyline. If you ain't noticed, they don't even
yeah.
mention it on the show anymore.
So well, I don't know. The Moxley stuff to me is one of the things to tune in for because I just don't know what's going to happen. Like I was actually looking forward to this segment, and I don't think that it left a bad taste in my mouth. There was just a couple things I would have changed, and I think it hung on for way too long, which is a typical AEW thing. But speaking
So,
of hanging on, oh well, go
well,
ahead.
one more thing: are they actually doing a neo-Nazi type angle here, or is that just online BS?
I would hope that's just online stuff,
Apparently,
but
he's been quoting that movie a lot, so
it
maybe
is
this is what he's
wrestling.
going for. Yeah, maybe that's what he's going for. He's wearing a white T-shirt, and he's shaved off all his hair. So he's going for the skinhead look, Micah.
Well,
Are we
he
are we gonna get
dresses like
Pac?
Peter Griffin.
Okay, come on. Are we gonna get Pac
What?
coming
What?
out in
Hey,
the?
look, he's got the white shirt and the green pants.
He does, yeah. Pac needs to commit too. Shave the head,
Oh
white
God.
T-shirt, white T-shirt.
Well, speaking of hanging on too long, we've been on this segment for a while, so we'll move to the next thing on the list for us. I don't know that you watched this, and we don't have to spend a long time on it. They spent more than I think they should have. But Rick O'Shea versus the Beast Mortos. Did you watch this, Ryan?
No.
Okay. Well, let me tell you
Okay.
about it.
Okay. No, I did see this. I did see this. Okay, go ahead. I did see
Okay,
it.
I was gonna say, if you had no idea about Ricochet in this match or in AEW yet, what would you assume that his wrestling style would be?
Flippity doo-dah, flippity day. It looked a little sloppy at points too.
Yeah, he's fallen right in where he belongs in AEW, which is fine. It's not my cup of tea, though. I enjoyed this match more than I thought I would. The Beast Mortos on the face of it is a ridiculous gimmick, but I think he's actually not horrible in the ring. So I liked this, and I would have liked it a lot more if it was like 8 minutes. But it went 15,
Of course.
and you got Ricochet, a guy coming off WWE, which they kind of alluded to in his thing with Will backstage later. Um, Against a guy that I've maybe seen on their TV like twice.
He's a collision mainstay, so if you like the Beast Mortos, tune in Saturday nights, Micah.
Well, that explains why I have not seen him.
Yeah.
He used to be Black Taurus, right?
That sounds right, yeah.
Okay, so I mean he's talented, but I just haven't seen anything to make me be like, yeah, this guy needs to go 15 minutes with Ricochet. And Ricochet to me is just another guy in AEW who he's gonna have good matches. He's just not gonna be able to tell a story, which is what I personally enjoy more. However, I'll go ahead and tie this in because I don't know if you saw this. He must have found his way to a promo on this episode. He must have found that on the way to the arena
No.
because
Are you sure? Are we? Is that in the room with us? Is promo ability?
I thought he cooked Will.
It just felt like a monologue, man. Will just sat there and took everything. It didn't sound natural. It sounded like he prepared the statement.
Maybe I was a little higher on it than you were.
I don't know, man.
He actually had some like zingers in there, which typically he stumbles on his words a lot. And we're like,
But
what
who?
was that first time we ever heard him speak? He was like, "Yeah, man, you bring your best. Yeah, you bring it. Yeah, man." And I was like, okay.
But still, though, Micah, who talks like that? If you're having a conversation with somebody and they're telling you how they feel, you're just gonna sit there like an NPC while they go on a 5 minute soliloquy. Like it just didn't seem natural to me. And the whole layout, where were they at? The lighting was
A Blue Man Group concert.
the audio seemed off, man. Mr. O'Shea was out of breath.
They were never mind.
Okay, come on. But so Will and Mr. O'Shea, Will said at the start when he first saw O'Shea that you need to get your wins up. So get your wins up means, Micah, to win 2 matches. And that means you got your wins up.
I
You
thought
earned
he
the
said he won
opportunity, bro.
3.
I think he's been in 3. Because he was in the casino match, right?
Yeah. He
And
beat
he
Kyle
had that,
Fletcher.
and then he beat the Beast, right? It's
It might be
2.
one more I'm missing.
2 matches.
Well, we can always go to our handy dandy booking tool cage match.
Yeah. Google it, you fed shield.
Yeah, man, you don't understand the background of this 15-year feud. How about you actually pull out your phone and use Google instead of tweeting about it?
They changed the landscape of professional wrestling by doing gymnastics in the ring. You just don't understand, you fed shield. They changed the business forever. Literally.
So here we go.
Austin
He
and Rock.
beat
What?
Sammy Guevara
Oh, okay.
on Dynamite last week. I didn't catch that one. Thank God.
Yeah, I didn't see that. But still, though, 3 wins, that means you got your wins up.
Well, did you get the impression that he was kind of alluding to the fact that like he was a WWE guy coming into AEW?
Yeah, that's what everybody's alluding to. First comes to AEW television.
So I don't like that either. Like I don't know. I enjoyed the match. I wish it was a little shorter because I think it went through at least 1 or 2 commercial breaks.
Did you have a problem with them saying that they changed the landscape of professional wrestling forever from having that flippity doodah match 8 years ago?
Oh yeah, I thought were you talking about Nigel and Bryan a minute ago, or were you talking about Ricochet?
No, I was talking about Ricochet and Ospreay.
Oh, okay, yeah. I heard him say that. I didn't write it down. I think that's ridiculous. I didn't even know about that match until Will Ospreay got to AEW.
But the crazy thing is, Micah, that's what they believe. They really believe that. If it did change anything, it changed it for the worse.
Yeah.
Now we gotta sit here and go through a gymnastics routine every match with finisher kickout spam.
Because, well, that match style is the focus of AEW. So,
yeah,
I'm sure that they think in like a weird, twisted way that influenced AEW's beginning and the alternative wrestling, but not everything has to be WWE, but not everything has to be flips and choreographs, and that's exactly, like, that's what bothers me about that Mortos match. It kind of got good the later it went, but in the start of it, it's constant, like, I'm going to do this move, reverse it. I'm going to flip out of this move, you reverse it. Like, and it just goes like that for the first 5 minutes. If you cut all that crap out and make it a 10-minute match, it would be good. Or trim that to 30 seconds.
Yeah, I agree. They do way too much. And the
So
ending
the
is
crowd can
always so
clap
abrupt.
after.
The ending is always so abrupt, too.
Yeah. Well, other than Ricochet and Will Ospreay, the only other thing I really had here was that Jeff Jarrett probably got the biggest pop of the night, and that kind of cracked me up. Him and Paige, what do you think about that? I have to admit, as much as I don't, or I have not liked Paige in the past, this new iteration of him is interesting to me. And I think him and Jeff Jarrett could probably have a good match.
I think you're going on you're giving a risk here by having supposedly the hottest heel in the business, if you believe the basement, go up against somebody that people have groaned about over the last 20 years in wrestling. His first big feud coming out of the swerve match, man, is against Jeff Jarrett. I mean, just say that out loud, Mike. How crazy is that? In 2024. Yeah.
I don't know. I think Jeff has hit this weird part of like his career where it's like he makes you kind of think of a time in the past where you enjoyed wrestling maybe a little more, or like it's just this old vet.
Yeah, I get that, Micah, but Jeff Jarrett isn't going to win this. Why not have a guy that you maybe can see Hangman losing to, like somebody they've been pushing, like Hook? Why couldn't Hook have this spot?
Don't.
I'm just saying though, they protect Hook, so why not have somebody that you've been protecting go up against somebody else you've been protecting, instead of just having them go up against guys that the other guy's not going to beat him. That's what I'm saying. Just so
I guess maybe to protect their own people for like bigger shows or whatever, but I don't know.
I don't like that.
I'm interested in it. It's his first match coming out of the big Swerve feud, so get him a win and then get him to the next guy that's a little more important.
Yeah, Garcia. They've been pushing Garcia.
Oh God.
I'm just saying. I know we don't like it, but still, though.
No, but you keep bringing up people that would be worse. I'd rather see Jeff Jarrett than these two. I don't care if he's going to lose.
I know that, Michael, but he's not going to be around in 5 years. They're building around. At least get equity out of the guys who've been building around. That's what I'm saying. The 5-year anniversary show is coming up. The 5-year anniversary show is coming up. So what better way to celebrate 5 years of Dynamite than have Will Ospreay, somebody that hasn't been there that long, Ricochet, somebody that hasn't been there that long, a color commentator, and Daniel Bryan, somebody that made their name in other companies. Hey, where are all the homegrown guys?
No, that's on Grand Slam.
But still, though, you know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
Where are all the homegrown guys? You can't make homegrown stars if you keep on relying on Jeff Jarrett or Kristen.
Yeah, but
I know
like
they stink.
Jeff Jarrett and Christian.
I know. But I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but Jeff Jarrett does throw a hell of a punch.
He does. And I mean, hey man, the guitars always get a pop.
Yeah, the Jays were fresh. Yeah, I get it.
So I don't know, we'll see. But next week we will reconvene and see what AEW has for us. It was a jam-packed Raw. We'll see what Dynamite has this upcoming week. This week wasn't so great, but they got Grand Slam. We'll see what happens there, and we've got some cinema to review from Friday Night SmackDown. Make sure you come back next week. Make sure before you come back next week, follow us Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at ScoopSlamPod, and TikTok so you can see our clips. As I mentioned earlier, get your death threats, all your sporting needs and or goods. We got football on this weekend. We got football to the end of the year. So this is the best time of the year for sports, in my humble opinion. So make sure you use that. 15% off. Use the code ScoopSlam. 10% off at checkout. Like I said, we'll be back next week. Huge episode with AEW Grand Slam. Big SmackDown, big Raw, and we'll see what happens with the 2-hour, 3-hour change-ups.
Are we reviewing NXT?
Are they going to see you this upcoming week?
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah, in Chicago.
We will watch it, and you'll just have to come back next week and find out. But in between, ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourself. Thank you for listening, and have a good one.